All right, 2009 Nissan Murano SL with 3.5 liter. Customer states the AC is not working. I got some dye on the Schrader valve there, and some on that one. Let's see, are we losing it anywhere else? That is the other question. And we're just gonna have to put this thing up to get a better look at the compressor. So some of the things I'm looking for an AC concern is, one, verify the complaint. Is it blowing cold? Is it not? And then the other thing would be to look for any kind of dye using a UV light of some kind. I got this one from Cornwell a while back, and it hasn't disappointed me yet. Sorry, I always like to double check my lift points before I send it. And we're looking good. So let's put this thing in the air. All right, I see a little, yeah, at the compressor where the lines go in. I can see it. You guys are probably having a hard time seeing it, but I got dye there and at the other hose. A couple other ways you can test it is you can smoke test it. So if you take one of the Schrader valves, you can run smoke through one of the AC ports basically and see if you can see smoke coming out from anywhere. And the other way that we would do it is if you get like a little coupler like this for the low pressure side, hook it up to shop air, and then spray some soapy water. That's another way to look for leaks. All right, a few tools that you also might want for checking AC performance and repairs is some kind of scan tool. Sometimes it'll let you get into an HVAC module and read the pressures through scan data to see if it's showing anything outside of the ordinary, like when you're road testing. Another thing would be a little kit like this. I like having these different tools, one for the high side and one for the low side. And those are handy. Comes in the kit. I got a couple other ones that I added to it that I had collected over the years. And then of course you have a couple of these quick disconnects. And these are for different adapters that go to the lines. See, low side line. Sometimes they have these hex forms, but it's very particular to the actual coupler. You can't just use a regular socket, you'll round it, trust me. But anyway, these are handy things to have as well. You also have, this isn't made by Mac, okay, but I'm sure somebody else does it. This is one for tires, right? The tire valve stem core removal tool that you can also take out the low side Schrader valves. And in some cases, when you need to rethread them, they give you a couple of different rethread tools that work for that too. So this can be useful for AC work as well. All right, and now we're just gonna go on a road test to confirm our repair. Now, what I also did to try to confirm the repair is I did a vacuum test, and then I let it sit there under a vacuum to see if it held. And it did. And I usually like to wait about 10 minutes, 20 tops. It depends if it's a small leak or not. You always want to try to inject a little bit of dye in the system when you recharge it. And if you have, you're on the road test, try to use one of these little thermometers for the vent port. Mine is an oversized dialogue one. Now, I used to have a digital one, but somewhere within all the Mr. Freegee AC services that I did down at Audi, I accidentally left it in a customer's car, so they got a free thermometer now, which I'm sure they didn't mind hanging on to for sure. At least that's where they can see what the temperature is that's coming out of the vents. Be it that it may. Put a little gauge in the vent port, see how she's doing. Right now we're pulling down to about 40. I did just stick it in the vent not too long ago. Ambient temps about 70 degrees. You could also have a fan if you're having AC concerns with pressure and stuff like that you want to put in front of the condenser, kind of like so. And then you can monitor what's going on the actual gauge itself to the AC machine, or your AC gauges that you might have hooked up to see if anything changes with airflow. So lots of different ways to being able to diagnose AC concerns. Sometimes you can watch the compressor clutch activate and deactivate, and you'll hear it too. Sometimes you won't hear it, but it'll still actually do what it's supposed to do. And sometimes there's a worm drive gear on the inside, so it has an internal clutch that shuts on and off to create the flow. So you can't always look at it, but if you're looking at a domestic car, like a Ram truck or Ford or even GM, most of them still have the clutch connect, disconnect external to the actual gear itself. And then of course just go for a road test. For the most part, you should be able to tell if the vents are blowing enough cold air out. If you think you might have a restriction on one side versus the other, you may check the cabin air filter, see if it's clogged up, dirty, or if the blower is falling loose. I've seen some technicians that have done a blower motor repair or swap, and all of a sudden the customer's driving and said, it doesn't work anymore and I'm not driving back there. You guys look at it and they just forgot to connect the connector to the blower motor, something simple like that. So we always hope that it's an easy fix for you customers, so that way it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. But sometimes more than not, AC work gets to be pretty expensive, pretty towards the end of the day. We're just finishing up by taking a few things apart on this Isuzu. Was it Rodeo? Trooper, something like that, Trooper. And we're getting ready to do a water pump, timing belt, serpentine belt, and lower radiator hose. Ugh, that's nasty. Yummy. Progress. You getting ready to road test this? Almost. Yeah? I see you're checking fluid. Uh-oh. Sounds healthy. Clapping? Oh, yeah. Woo! Now we're just ready to see you whipping it down the street. It'll be a while for it to get with you. We're getting close. Ah, I thought I was going to catch it too. I was like, oh, he's rolling. He's rolling. Well, the brakes work.
For sure.
Brakes work.